about HIV/AIDS because before I came to college and joined the Global Health Club that I'm a part of, I didn't know anything about HIV/AIDS, and I think it's a really taboo disease, and people are unaware of how it's transmitted, what are the symptoms, and that kind of stuff. And I think that it's really important to be diagnosed, so I think the first step to that is being aware. So I care about it because it's something that could easily be transmitted and people don't even know. So I think that it's really important to educate others and be aware. I have met a few people who have HIV/AIDS, and knowing people who are living with it is, really means a lot and makes me want to strive to do something to advocate for it. So that's why I care about advocacy for HIV/AIDS treatment and funding and all of that kind of medical treatment. It's really personal since I have personal relationships with people.
I care about AIDS because my cousin died of AIDS in the late 90s, right before access to effective treatments became much more widely available and affordable.
Yes.
And I think it's an important issue that everyone should care about because it's a disease that over 650,000 Americans alone have died from, and it's 100% preventable, and it's completely treatable too. I don't think there's any reason with the modern medicine we have for people to continue to die, and with, different practices we have available for people to continue to catch it. So.
So what I decided to do, I just met a group of students that were really incredibly passionate about HIV/AIDS because they had personal connections. And then I was trying to learn about about what was the big deal, like why did they care so much? They're some of the most passionate people I'd ever met, but I was like, why this issue? And so over time, going to the club meetings, I eventually just, I learned more about it, but I think after my first semester, towards the end, I was asked, why am I here? Why do I care? And I couldn't really come up with a great answer because, as one of our friends, Sean said, who graduated, he's like, well, you're still trying to find your narrative. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. It's like, I'm not personally impacted. I don't really know people. Like, why am I here? Well, then I discovered that although it's really difficult to care about things that you don't have a personal connection with, sometimes if you just start to know enough about it, you can start to develop a sense of empathy, or you just realize, like, wow, like this actually does impact tons of people. Like, so now, I'm in my senior year, I've been in this club for a year and a half, and I'm currently writing a paper on global health and how that affects food security and just development in general. And you realize that global health issues such as HIV/AIDS are some of the things that set back countries the most. And what's really about HIV/AIDS in particular is the fact that it can set people back so far, and it can affects their health so much, but at the same time it's something that we could fix so easily. We have medications that can reduce transmission rates to less than 1%. There's just all types of education programs that can help with it as well. It's just they aren't being enacted. So HIV/AIDS is this really big topic that affects 35 million people, I believe, have died. I'm not sure if that statistic is right, but I edit that out. So it's affecting tons of people, but it's something that we know how to fix if we just have the political willpower and the money to do so. And so it's this really beautiful thing that we can actually tackle as people. And that's why I guess I advocate for HIV/AIDS, is because it's a problem that affects millions of people in a lot of different ways, but it's a problem that we can fix within our generation, within the next decade. So I guess it comes to a question, why not care? I think a better question would be why do I care? The better question is, why don't I care?
Okay, I am a part of the Global Health and AIDS Coalition because I believe that everyone should have the same standard of care that I do living here in the United States. Your level of healthcare shouldn't matter if you live in Haiti or if you live in Washington, D.C., because health is the most basic of human rights. And honestly, it's really hard to be an advocate. It's one of the most intimidating things I've ever done. but it's also one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And when you get that feeling that you're actually making a difference in the world, not only people living here in the United States, but people everywhere, it's the most rewarding thing that I could ever do.